Mukesh Ambani doesn't just symbolize wealth, he defines it. His fortune, estimated at over $115 billion, places him firmly among the top tier of the world's richest individuals. But in India, there's no contest. He stands alone at the summit. His influence extends far beyond bank balances and business headlines. It ripples through industries, governments, culture, and even how India imagines its future. At the heart of this towering financial empire is Reliance Industries. Founded by his father Dhirubhai Ambani in the late 1960s, the company began with textiles and petrochemicals. But under Mukesh's leadership, it transformed into a sprawling conglomerate that reaches into every corner of Indian life. Fuel, fiber, finance, telecom, digital commerce, entertainment. If there's an industry with mass impact, Reliance has touched it. And more often than not, dominated it. Take Jio, for instance. Launched in 2016 with a blitz of free data and national coverage, it didn't just disrupt India's telecom market, it reinvented it. Within months, competitors were either folding or scrambling to match prices. By 2025, Jio is more than a mobile provider. It's a digital lifeline. It powers everything from rural schools to remote medical clinics. Jio isn't just a service. For many, it's a utility, like water, electricity, and air. And while Jio connects, Reliance retail sells. From upscale outlets in Mumbai to corner stores in Uttar Pradesh, Reliance has built a retail network with breathtaking scope. It owns supply chains, storefronts, e-commerce platforms, and increasingly the data to fuel them all. In sheer footprint and turnover, it's left behind even the most established global players. Amazon and Walmart may have entered the Indian market, but it's Ambani who's made it home turf. Then there's energy. Once reliant on oil and gas, Reliance is now racing toward a green future. With billions allocated to renewable energy hubs, hydrogen fuel research, and solar infrastructure, Ambani is reinventing Reliance's core all over again. He's not doing it because it looks good in headlines. He's doing it because he knows the future won't wait. His ability to read the horizon, bet big, and build fast is what sets him apart. While others hedge, he commits. And when he commits, he does so with the full weight of an empire behind him. Entire industries shift when Mukesh Ambani enters a room. Policies adapt. Markets react. Because his wealth is never just passive, it's directional. It shapes outcomes. But what makes his story compelling isn't just the size of his fortune. It's how rooted it remains in Indian soil. Unlike many of his billionaire peers, Ambani has never fled for offshore tax shelters or gated European villas. His wealth circulates through Indian banks, cities, and families. His headquarters rise in Mumbai, not Manhattan. His vision for growth includes villages, not just global boardrooms. And in a world obsessed with flashy consumerism, Ambani's public persona remains surprisingly restrained. No gold watches flashed at the camera. No billionaire tweets at midnight. Just a quiet intensity, a methodical expansion of influence, and a sense that he's always several moves ahead of everyone else. Mukesh Ambani's world in 2025 is a constellation of numbers, but also of meaning. It's not just a net worth, it's a network. One that connects homes, fuels ambition, and increasingly defines what modern India looks like. He's not just a billionaire, he's a builder. Of companies, of infrastructure, of legacy, and yet, for all that wealth, his story is not measured in rupees alone. Because to understand Ambani's empire, you have to step inside it. In the next chapter, we leave the spreadsheets behind and open the doors to some of the most jaw-dropping homes on the planet, including a skyscraper mansion that literally touches the clouds. Welcome to Antilia. Chapter 2, Antilia and Beyond, mansions, malls, and mega homes rising 27 stories above Mumbai's Altamount Road. Antilia is less a home and more a modern-day palace in the sky. It's one of the most recognizable private residences in the world, and in 2025 it still captures global imagination, not just because of its scale, but because of what it represents, the intersection of staggering wealth, architectural ambition, and cultural symbolism. Built to withstand earthquakes, outfitted with its own cinema, ballroom, helipads, and staff of over 600, Antilia is not just a structure, it's a statement. At night, its crystal-lit windows gleam like a lighthouse of luxury, visible for miles. But for the Ambani family, it's also a private sanctuary. Inside, traditions continue. Sacred rituals are observed. Meals are served with family first. Behind the grandeur is still a deeply personal space. Yet Antilia is only one facet of Ambani's real estate footprint. In recent years, the family expanded into Dubai, acquiring a beachfront villa on Palm Jumeirah. With a price tag reportedly over $80 million, the property is less vacation home and more global retreat, a space to entertain dignitaries, host private celebrations, and unwind far from the flashing lights of Mumbai. Then there's London. Rumors swirled in 2022 when the Ambanis were said to have purchased Stoke Park, a historic estate that once hosted royalty and Bond films alike. Add to that their presence in New York, as well as ongoing development near Reliance's Jamnagar facilities, and it becomes clear, Mukesh Ambani doesn't just build companies. He builds bases, places where family, power, and legacy can live side by side. But it's not just about homes. It's about hubs. Across India, Ambani is constructing commercial and cultural centers, malls, art venues, convention complexes. Reliance's real estate wing is transforming skylines from Ahmedabad to Navi Mumbai, often blurring the line between luxury and infrastructure. Every property serves a purpose. Some are for retreat, some for ritual, some for reaching out to the world. Together, they form a physical map of the Ambani worldview, rooted in India, branching across continents, always expanding. And while the architecture is breathtaking, what happens inside matters more. Because these homes are also stages, where weddings are hosted, partnerships formed, and generations raised. And in 2025, no Ambani event drew more eyes than the family's latest wedding. Next, we step into that world of celebration, where music meets ritual, and where the next generation of India's most powerful family takes center stage.
Chapter 3: Weddings and Grandkids, a family at center stage. If there's one thing Mukesh Ambani's world is known for beyond wealth and business, it's the unmatched grandeur of his family celebrations. In 2025, that legacy of opulence continued as the Ambanis hosted yet another wedding that captivated the world. This time, it was Anant Ambani's turn, and the scale was, as expected, breathtaking. Held across multiple venues, starting with traditional ceremonies in Jamnagar and culminating in an extravagant international reception, the event was more than a wedding. It was a cultural moment. Think handcrafted mandips, a guest list that included world leaders, Bollywood A-listers, and global billionaires, and performances by international music stars. Private jets lined runways. Security was airtight. And yet, for all its extravagance, the heart of the event remained firmly rooted in family and tradition. Every detail reflected that. The ceremonies honored Vedic customs. Guests were gifted sustainable, handmade artifacts from rural artisans. Meals were designed to reflect India's regional culinary diversity. And through it all, Mukesh and Nita Ambani stood not as CEOs and public figures, but as parents, beaming, grounded, and emotionally present. But the family spotlight didn't end at weddings. In 2025, the Ambani household welcomed more than celebration. It welcomed life itself. The arrival of new grandchildren brought fresh joy and deeper meaning to the family legacy. Isha Ambani, already a leading figure in Reliance retail, gave birth to twins the year before, and this year, Akash and Shloka Ambani welcomed another child. These aren't just milestones for the family. They're the next generation of India's most influential dynasty. And Mukesh Ambani, often seen as the ever-strategic business leader, has embraced grandfatherhood with genuine softness. Sources close to the family say he often rearranges meetings to spend time with the little ones, walking them through the gardens of Antilia or reading them stories from Hindu mythology. This phase of life, weddings, grandchildren, generational continuity, is perhaps his most meaningful chapter yet. Because for all the business empires he's built, Ambani knows that true legacy begins at home. It's not about succession planning on spreadsheets. It's about values passed over dinner, character shaped by family tradition. And make no mistake, this family is preparing for the future. Each child is being groomed not just to inherit wealth, but to understand the responsibility that comes with it. Up next, we turn from the celebrations of family to the serious business of building the future. How Ambani is reshaping industries with bold moves across retail, telecom, media, and green energy. Chapter 2025, Mukesh Ambani is not just protecting his empire, he's transforming it. While many billionaires settle into the comfort of what they've already built, Ambani is laying the foundation for Reliance Industries 2.0. From retail and digital services to entertainment and green energy, his every move is a signal. India's economic future will be written in Reliance Inc. Start with retail. Reliance Retail, already India's largest retailer by revenue and scale, has moved far beyond conventional storefronts. Under Isha Ambani's leadership, the company has created a hybrid retail model that merges high-end luxury shopping with rural outreach. Whether it's an upscale Reliance Trends store in a Tier 1 city or a JioMart partnership with a neighborhood Kirana shop, the strategy is clear: serve everyone, everywhere. JioMart itself has become a household name. Through lightning-fast delivery and wide product availability, it has taken on giants like Amazon and Flipkart, and continues to expand its share in everything from groceries to fashion. What makes it work is the integration. Supply chains, inventory systems, logistics, and digital payments are all interwoven into one seamless operation, largely powered by Jio's own network infrastructure. And speaking of Jio, Ambani's digital juggernaut has grown into much more than a telecom provider. In 2025, Jio is the nerve center of India's digital ecosystem. With over 500 million active users, it powers everything from mobile connectivity and broadband to television, gaming, and financial services. Jio's 5G rollout has not only accelerated nationwide adoption of high-speed internet, but also enabled innovations in telemedicine, AI education, and smart agriculture. But Ambani doesn't just want to provide the pipes, he wants to own what flows through them. That's where media comes in. Through Viacom 18 and Network 18, Reliance has strengthened its grip on India's content landscape. Jio Cinema, the company's OTT platform, has become a cultural fixture with exclusive sports streaming rights, including the Indian Premier League and a growing library of regional and international content. Behind the scenes, there's a deeper strategy at play. Reliance is positioning itself not just as a content distributor, but as a creator of experiences. Investments in film production, regional storytelling, and emerging platforms like short-form video apps suggest a long-term vision: control the full pipeline from signal to screen. And yet, perhaps the most ambitious play lies in energy. Once synonymous with petrochemicals and refining, Reliance is pivoting aggressively into green power. Ambani's announcement of a $10 billion investment into renewable energy is being realized through the construction of the Dhirubhai Ambani Green Energy Giga Complex in Jamnagar, a multi-layered facility dedicated to solar panel production, energy storage, and green hydrogen. Anant Ambani, the youngest of the siblings, is spearheading this green transition. Under his guidance, Reliance aims to become a global leader in sustainable energy, producing clean fuel not just for India but potentially for export. Their vision includes building integrated solar farms, gigawatt-scale hydrogen production units, and AI-powered grids to power smart cities. What makes all of this so effective is the way it's all connected. Jio collects data that informs retail. Retail generates customer insight that feeds content and commerce. The entire system is underpinned by clean energy and delivered at scale. In short, Mukesh Ambani isn't building separate businesses. He's constructing a self-sustaining ecosystem. Even now, he remains deeply involved in high-level decisions, working alongside his children to craft the next era. It's not about stepping back. It's about stepping alongside, making room for new leadership while ensuring continuity of vision. And so, while most business leaders retire into their legacy, Ambani is still actively expanding his. The empire is evolving, and with it, the very way India works, shops, watches, and powers its future. But there's more to power than business. In the next chapter, we explore how Ambani's influence now stretches into diplomacy, culture, and global strategy, where his moves shape not just markets, but nations. Chapter 5: global clout, diplomacy, partnerships, and public life. By 2025, Mukesh Ambani's reach extends far beyond balance sheets and boardrooms. He is no longer just a business magnate, he is a diplomatic force, a cultural ambassador, and a symbol of India's global ascent. His decisions don't just influence industries, they ripple through governments, alliances, and the way the world sees modern India. At international forums like the World Economic Forum in Davos or the G20 Summit, Ambani is a fixture, not just as a participant, but as a power broker. His presence signals that India's voice matters on the global stage. Quiet meetings on the sidelines, private dinners with CEOs and heads of state, and influence over trade and energy policy, these are the spaces where Ambani increasingly operates. He's not holding press conferences. He's shaping outcomes in private rooms where future-defining conversations unfold. Back home, Antilia isn't just a residence, it's a venue for diplomacy. The guest list at Ambani hosted events reads like a who's who of global power: presidents, prime ministers, Nobel laureates, giants, Bollywood royalty. Deals are often seated over cocktails in its chandelier-lit ballrooms or during quiet walks in the garden. His ability to blend cultural hospitality with strategic purpose has made him one of India's most effective unofficial envoys. And then there's the Middle East. Ambani has cultivated deep ties with nations like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, leading to massive cross-border investments in oil, infrastructure, and technology. His relationships with Gulf leaders are personal, not just transactional. These aren't one-off partnerships. They're long-term alignments built on trust, cultural respect, and shared economic goals. But perhaps his most profound influence comes through philanthropy and public life. The Reliance Foundation, helmed by Nita Ambani, is one of India's most active charitable organizations. From rural education and women's empowerment to disaster relief and arts funding, the foundation's footprint spans all corners of the country. In 2025, it continues to expand, launching AI-powered healthcare centers and supporting heritage conservation projects, like the recent restoration of the Brihanambai Shri Mahalakshmi Temple. Through sports too, Ambani's reach is expanding. The Mumbai Indians IPL franchise, now co-owned by his son Akash and daughter-in-law Shloka, is not just a team, it's a brand. And as the Ambani family invests in overseas leagues in South Africa and the UAE, cricket becomes more than a passion project. It becomes a bridge between cultures, a vehicle for influence across borders. Publicly, Ambani remains measured. He rarely gives interviews, seldom reacts to market noise. His statements are infrequent, but carefully considered. And when he does speak on stage, in annual shareholder meetings, or during rare appearances, it's not just business analysis. It's vision. It's direction. It's an outline of where India, and perhaps the world, could be heading. What sets him apart is subtlety. In a world filled with loud billionaires tweeting impulsively, Mukesh Ambani leads with restraint. Power for him isn't about spotlight. It's about steering the current beneath it. He understands that real influence isn't always visible. Sometimes it's felt in the quiet shifts of strategy, policy, or global perception. In 2025, Ambani has become something rare, a billionaire who blends empire building with diplomacy, technology with tradition, ambition with duty. He doesn't just represent Indian business, he is Indian business redefined and globalized. But all of this, the homes, the family, the industries, the alliances, points toward a single destination: legacy. In the next and final chapter, we explore how Mukesh Ambani is preparing to hand over the reins and what the next generation of India's most powerful family will inherit, not just in wealth, but in responsibility. Chapter 6: Legacy in Motion. What comes next for Mukesh Ambani? By 2025, Mukesh Ambani has done what few business leaders ever fully achieve: built an empire, redefined a nation's economy, and begun a carefully choreographed handoff of power, all without losing momentum. For Ambani, legacy isn't just about what he's accomplished. It's about who will carry it forward and how. His transition from operational leadership to visionary stewardship began several years ago. But in 2025, that shift is fully visible. At the core of it are his three children, Akash, Isha, and Anat, each now leading strategic arms of the Reliance conglomerate. not merely as symbolic heirs but as active executives charting the group's future across telecom, retail, and energy. Mukesh Ambani, the eldest, has firmly taken charge of Jio. Under his leadership, Jio has not only expanded its user base and 5G capabilities but has also become a platform for financial services, AI development, and rural digital inclusion. His leadership style mirrors his father's, quiet, composed, but relentless in execution. Mukesh Ambani, leading Reliance Retail and its online counterpart JioMart, has turned the company into a global model of hybrid retail. By merging e-commerce with India's local Kirana networks, she's created a system that empowers small businesses while scaling big data and logistics. Her vision includes wellness brands, fashion, and international tie-ups, with expansion into Southeast Asia on the horizon. Then there's Anant Ambani, perhaps the most closely watched in recent years. He's taken on the challenge of transforming Reliance's traditional energy business into a green energy juggernaut. Spearheading the Jamnagar Green Energy Park and hydrogen projects, Anant represents the environmental pivot the company and the planet needs. Though younger, his focus is deep and driven, and he's being positioned as the long-term leader in Reliance's most future-critical vertical. But Mukesh Ambani's legacy is not only measured by business succession, it's also personal, cultural, and national. He has long expressed his desire to build not just companies, but institutions, structures that outlast individuals, frameworks that protect wealth, purpose, and impact across generations. Behind the scenes, a complex web of family trusts, holding companies, and governance boards have been established to ensure continuity and stability. Legal and financial experts say Reliance's succession model is now among the most studied and well-prepared in corporate India, built to prevent chaos, ensure collaboration, and preserve long-term value. There's also a deeper ambition to shape India's role in the world. Ambani's investments in education, sports, healthcare, and cultural preservation are all part of a broader philosophy that prosperity must serve progress. That legacy must be earned, not just inherited. And so, in 2025, we don't see Mukesh Ambani retiring in the traditional sense. We see him evolving. More time with grandchildren, yes. More space for reflection, definitely. But also, more influence from the wings, guiding when needed but allowing the next generation to take center stage. His story is no longer just his own. It's now a family narrative, a national blueprint, and a global case study in how to hand over power without losing control. As Mukesh Ambani steps into legacy mode, one thing is clear. His empire was never about ego. It was about endurance. And so the question isn't what's next for Mukesh Ambani. It's what's next for the world he helped build.